Thanks for clicking on this video for Brian's Art for Animals. We're going to start a new segment called Animal Question. And this one is about circus elephants. For years and years and years, Ringling Brothers used to exhibit elephants as part of their act. It's kind of a twofold thing. One, provide you entertainment for their circus, and the other, in their words, to inspire you to want to conserve elephants. By seeing elephants at their show, they were hoping that you'd go home and want to support a wildlife conservation group. Now, a question for you is, it's been about 6-7 years since they've exhibited elephants in their shows, and since you're not seeing them promote elephants anymore, and when the circus comes around to your town once a year, you would see advertising with elephants and all that. Since that is no longer happening, are you less thinking about elephants or about the same? So is their claim in your mind true or false that by having the circus with elephants, they're providing a way for you to get emotionally attached to these elephants? So do you still need that happening, or are you about the same because you can see them on TV, or if your local zoo has them or that? So that's why I want you to answer me in the comments below. Is it true that by seeing the advertising, and perhaps even if you went to the circus, were you more inspired to really want to help elephants, and did you actually contribute to any elephant conservation group? Or not seeing them perform in the circus, that really hasn't changed anything? Of course, there's always two sides to that. On one side, the animal rights activists are really glad that Ringling is not using elephants in their shows anymore. They point to the years and years and years that these elephants would have to perform. They'd be in a train car, chained up, and they point to the fact that these elephants were swaying back and forth. Perhaps it was emotional distress. They also like to say that Ringling Brothers has been hit with USDA fines, and the whole kind of I guess cruel to animals kind of thing to make these animals perform. And how were you training them to be able to perform these acts, and where did they all go? Were they just same elephants year after year, or did you move animals around and they kind of got lost in the shuffle and all that? I'm just primarily talking about the elephants. Now, the other side of that coin is Ringling said, hey, we provided a great way to entertain people, and we provided a great home for these elephants. We take great care of these elephants, and they can also point to the fact that they won millions in a lawsuit that was brought to them from the animal rights groups. They won that lawsuit because the person that the animal rights group brought in to say no, they were kind of cruel to the animals, couldn't prove that point. And they proved that he was actually, I think, paid by one of the animal rights groups to say certain things. That doesn't mean that they were cruel or they weren't cruel, but just in court of law, they couldn't prove that. Again, leave in your comments below what you think. Is it their claim true that out of sight, out of mind, you don't really see the campaigns and the advertising for the circus, so you're not really thinking of elephants, and you're certainly not thinking of what you can do to take care of them? Or was that kind of not true? You don't really need to see them in a circus, and you're sort of glad that Ringling got rid of them because you didn't need to see that performance in order for you to care about animal conservation. Now, real quick, of course, Ringling was around for over 140 years using elephants. I think the first one they used was an African elephant named Jumbo. In the 60s, they got sold to Feld Entertainment. Feld Entertainment, they do ice shows like truck shows, Sesame Street. I think they just acquired like a Jurassic Park show. So they do lots of performance shows. And word is Ringling is going to come back as part of their Feld Entertainment group in a year or two without animals, but they're going to come back with a show. Now, these elephants were sent to the elephants that were retired. I think the last performance they did was around 2016, 2017. The ones that were left, 11 or 12 of them or so, they were going to be sent to their conservation center in Florida, owned by Ringling and Feld Entertainment. But then White Oak Conservancy bought those elephants and sent them to their place, and there's a link in this video's description. I'll show you where they ended up. I do not know if all the elephants have been transferred over to White Oak, but at least a few have, because they have had news reports about showing the elephants. So that's what's happened to those elephants since they are going to go to White Oak, which is, I've been there years ago, and that place is phenomenal. It's a huge place in Florida, and they have a long track history of wildlife conservation. That's another point. Did the elephant conservation groups really like the elephants being used in the circus? Was that a good way to promote elephant conservation? Or the elephant animal groups, the conservation groups, not the animal rights groups, but the conservation groups, were they kind of glad to see that kind of circus imagery go, so they can focus on more, I guess, of the serious conservation. It is to be told that Ringling Brothers and Feld Entertainment used to support elephant conservation in Asia. They wrote checks to groups, as well as they, I think, had a center over there that they would help support, and it would kind of take care of abused elephants and stuff like that. So there would be more information on that. I did contact Feld Entertainment and have not heard back to see if they are still committed to helping animal conservation, even though Ringling is not going to use animals in their show anymore. I'd be interested to see if they are still, because they were always saying we're really committed to animal conservation, and now since they're not using animals, do you still have that commitment to supporting animal conservation? Well, that's it. Thanks for watching, and please leave me your opinion and your comments below. Thanks.